Hello, and welcome to my new Astro Poetry Series. This is so exciting. So, I have a very special person who I get to do a poem for. I have already written the poem, and so with the details of her birth chart, I was able to look at the dynamics that are happening in the chart, which are extremely interesting, and also the weather on the day that this individual was born, where they were born. But I was able to get the temperature. I wasn't able to get the weather exactly, but I know sort of what the temperature was. I have the high and the low, and the atmosphere of the chart is very interesting. So with all of that knowledge and all of that imagining and being inside of that space, I have created a poem, and it's very cinematic, I found, which is interesting because poetry is sort of like pre-theater, pre-cinema. I think that's my feeling about it. So this is very cool. If this was a movie, it would be definitely an independent movie. It would be kind of a romance, but there would be a lot of soul searching, and it wouldn't be a comedy. It would be like a European romance with a lot of interesting turns and things like that. Kind of like, and I mentioned him in the poem, the director Krystoff Kieslowski. His red, blue, and white series, sort of like kind of that. Mostly kind of a part of it was reminding me of the BLEU series, or the BLEU movie in that trilogy. If you've ever seen it, you don't need to have seen it to know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like Krystoff Kieslowski made a red, blue, and white series. He's a Polish director, and these movies are beautiful. And BLEU is a beautiful movie about this woman who is a composer, and she's like the tone of the movie is so beautiful because it's the le bleu all the time, le bleu all the time, like this blue light and this wateriness and a little bit of dustiness and a little bit of kind of stone, but mostly water, black clothes, moody, beautiful, like beauty with hardworking moodiness, that kind of thing. Although that's only one part of the story. There's another part of the story that's very solar, very romantic, very creature comforts and home life and like kind of snuggling with pets or something, like just a really beautiful home life that's sort of like a counter tempo to this blue moodiness of the other side of this life. So it's very beautiful. There's also an interesting shadowy, like as a character, a very interesting emphasis on a kind of perfectionism, but it's like it manifests in a very European filmic way, where there's just like a little hint of an unsettling kind of inner voice that may be projected onto somebody else, but it's not imaginary, but it's like a real voice, and like a very big sensitivity, and like holding yourself to a very high standard of workmanship. So that is interesting. Like, that's why it so much reminded me of that composer, of that that film, and the composer in the film, the character. So it's very beautiful. And so this person, an afternoon bird, in cold weather, coolish, tepid, cold weather. And I imagine probably a lot of overcastness, but in my imagination, the sun bursts through the window at some point, and so it's beautiful. But anyway, I'm so glad to have approached it this way, because when I'm inside of a chart like this, and I have free reign to do whatever I want and everything, it becomes very cinematic. And poetry and cinema are very closely related, I think. So this is so good. Do I have a name? I do not have a name for this poem. Hold on. I'll just think of a name. Hold on. Okay. I did not think of a name. Maybe the name of the poem is the same as the poem itself, but I won't read it 2 times. Maybe the first 3 words of the poem, which are, "It's all you. It's all you." That works, I think. And I think it reflects actually what I'm trying to get at in the poem. Okay, so this is so exciting. I kind of wish I had a drawing offering or something for it. But I've already done a lot of work, so I guess the drawing offering would be kind of cinematic. So maybe it would be like a scene or something. That's how I feel. Like, it wouldn't just be a still piece of art. It's like a scene that would be. Could turn this into a movie. And a tribute to Krystoff Kieslowski. Anyway, this is exciting. Okay. That's what it is. Okay. So I know that this is a screen that's filled with pink and orange and white and cream, but we're going to imagine sort of a blue theme with spots of solar breakthroughs. Okay, it's all you. It's all you and the complicated patchwork land that you're living in. The life goal is a pretense for the rest of your autorated drama here. Auturated drama here. Sort of in the way that a superhero may modestly resist her destiny for as long as possible and retire after each job to restack books at the library, as though her true life is the quiet life, escaping sometimes out of the warm romance of the home day into the already dark briskness dampness in a canopy of shadow goals, less conscious elements. The darkness of an afternoon of overcast. In the cold air the breath is visible. Through a lens the twilight BLEU, waking dream of working a Kieslowski BLEU, vintage workshop artistry, serious pre-winter artisan footwear, on bare floorboards, and a dancer's posture in a black wool-wrapped drama. Rising through clouds, a flute sound ascending like a white smoke stream from a fire, and see the arched half-moon window, an artist at work, through 18 little panes of glass. She wears a black turtleneck. The sound of bells and the workshop door opening and closing. In her mind she returns to an earlier moment, reinterpreting the subtly detected doubt in the voice of a lover, a silent but dissonant sound, as she separated from his chest. There in the background of the career work, it would be so no matter who he is or which. Work occupied your hands in the day, as you think any slight can be reasoned with no temper. Oh, to temper whatever you have that's rejected by you, in you, embracing finally your rejected parts, being brought down, paired to your essentials, leaving behind perfectionism. Your emotional self is going to be taken down through layers, this exhausting work. You can stop up the waterworks with rocks and fur in order to get some rest from the daily workouts of being torn down and taken down a few notches and then pulling yourself back onto dry land. In the meantime, you can divert your attention to a philosophical argument of why or why not you should actually accept the unknowing and unthinking and impersonal free gifts of the universe, known as people who will give you money by merely showing up and communicating, young and old, knowing that you do a lot of selfless work in the world protects against the whistling hardship of accepting that gift of unknowing and unthinking gifts based merely on your natural communicating presence. So how one mechanism pays it forward for another. And yet at some time in this cool day, the sun through the window shines like summer, and the imperfect self works through the cool air, so loves and returns to the warm home, the flight on the back of your eyelids, a hot pink fire, as you close your eyes against afternoon sunbeams. So that is your poem. Curtsy. Thank you so much for being my very first astro-poetic client. I'm so happy. That was so fulfilling. You see? I mean, when I'm doing astrological charts, I love it. I love it. I love it so much. But there's so much information to give. There's a lot of detail that's lost because it's just feelings. You see what I'm capturing here? It's like I'm capturing a part of the chart, like an aspect of the chart or a mood of the chart. The moods of the chart are something that often I don't get to talk about. Now I get to talk about them, which is so cool and fun. So that's wonderful. So thank you very much. That's really good. And so I'm really delighted, and I hope that you loved your poem. And it will be posted everywhere that I can put it. possibly put it. And so things are going really well for me. I am working on this picture that I talked about before. This diagram is like a map. So I'm working on this, making this into a picture. I haven't done a lot of oil painting because acrylic just does what you tell it to. Like when you put acrylic down, it just behaves in a way, and you know exactly what to expect. Oil paint is a little bit, like I've said it before, that oil paint is kind of like a cat, and acrylic is kind of like a dog, where acrylic will, you know, stay put. A cat will let you fall on your face. Acrylic will too, but only because it's followed your instructions exactly, and it didn't work. This happened to me before. But oil paints are very interesting because they're alive and they have a life of their own, and this substance is still alive. Like the oil, you can feel the life in it, and it smells fantastic. But it's intimidating, but it has a lot of gifts too, because it's alive, more alive than acrylic is. It imitates things that are alive really well. And so I'm using oils, and it's messy because the oil, gets all over my face and my hands and stuff, but that's okay. It smells fantastic. And if there are smudges, it's okay. It's oil because it's going to create a story around it. So it's nice. And I forgot actually how gift-giving oil is. So oil paints have been brought out, and the painting is coming along really nicely. I did a sketch and everything. I'm going to make a whole video about it. But anyway, of course that's a sketch, but I also did like a sketch that's pretty close to what I want it to be like. And so then I drew out the image and everything. So that's pretty cool. And what else? I'm thinking of designing also a painting to go with the Queen Elizabeth poem. I'm toying with that idea and what that would look like. I definitely want to emphasize the cow because the Caring for the Cow poem, I want that to be a series of a lot of different pictures, like 10 different pictures or something. Maybe not completely all on canvas, like some of them will be like on paper. I think they'll all be on paper because I happen to have a lot of paper to use. So maybe 10 pieces on paper, mixed media. And so the Queen Elizabeth picture, I have a feeling that's going to be oils. And the Gemini descendant picture I was describing before, definitely it's already in oils. It started. Another thing I was thinking, I just want to play with a little bit, especially for this Gemini picture, is like making something like, because of the photo show that I'm doing, I'm working with basically sculpture. I'm sculpting. Like it wasn't that way at first, but it's become that way because of wanting to go further with what I was doing. So I've started creating sculpture around this photo show, and I'm excited about the sculpture, and it feels right. So I feel like if I can, I'll maybe put some sculpture around, especially this descendant picture, because it's so fiery and kind of theatrical, and I want to convey that feeling of drama. Hi, Jay. Jay's on top of my fridge. Right up there. Jay Bird, are you a good boy? You are? Are you my sweetheart? You are? I love you, sweetie. Anyway, so that's exciting. Some kind of a sculptural element. Thinking about it. What materials? I'm not sure. Although I'm leaning kind of towards something like plaster. So that's exciting. And I have another person that I'm going to do an astro poem for. So that's exciting. And so I'm going to spend the rest of the day painting until I have to go to work. And the weather is so much cooler. Like since a couple of days ago, you can really feel the bite. I bet the leaves are going to start turning soon, and I'll have to bring my plants from outside inside. And then I'll do a big harvest where I cut down all the burdock and all of the grape leaves that I can find. Grape leaves? I don't think I talked to you about grape leaves. Grape leaves are a revelation. They have so much flavor and so much, they have such a strong punch. Like they taste kind of grape-like, only they're not, of course, sweet. And you can use them to wrap things up in. However, I've been just cutting them up really small and putting them in soup. Soup and grape leaf and burdock are delicious in like a bean soup. I've been taking rye berries, delicious, and then mixing them with like a split green pea, and then putting burdock leaves, cutting up really fine, and grape. And then I wait until the end of the cooking cycle, and I just mince up the grape leaves very small, because I don't want them to be, they have a lot of flavor and they kind of turn a gray brown when they're cooked too much. And I like the flavor of them being pretty fresh. But they're a big punch, and they have a lot of flavor in them. They add so much flavor to my soup. So delicious. Oh my goodness. And so lots of soups on the horizon. So I'm going to do a harvest of all of the burdock and grape leaves that I can find and put them in a Ziploc bag in my freezer so that I can have soup throughout the winter of burdock and grape leaves. I'm so excited about that. And what else? Well, I'm thinking about you guys. So if you all like this idea of astro poetry, you should contact me. It's less than a reading because I'm not doing reports or anything, and I'm really not giving a lot of information. I'm just giving kind of I'm giving information, but in a way that's very descriptive and cinematic. And it's a brand new way to look at astrology, which I love. So if you're interested in this, contact me. Contact me by my Gmail. It's the best way. I'm on TikTok now, which is a very bracing medium and so fast moving. And it makes it seem like everybody's just spinning around and screaming because there's such a fast moving energy and a pressure to produce and all of this. Plus, I get a lot of messages from people who are offering readings to people, and they have multiple accounts, and it's like 3 different people with the same picture are messaging me, asking me the same thing if I want to have a reading. I mean, I've never been so attended to in my life for readings that people can give me. And so that's amazing. I haven't taken anybody up on their reading offers yet, but I will, because I love getting readings from people sometimes, you know, especially when things are in transition for me. It's nice. I mean, I'm a reader. I do readings for people all the time. But there's something to be said about another person, and it's a good way to connect with people who are kind of witchy, especially around this time of year and Halloween. So great. So I'm probably going to do a house art tour video about my painting. And another goal I have is to paint really fast, or to paint really efficiently, so that I can, you know, paint more. I want to get faster at everything. And I know that I can do it with the help of oil paint, because oil paint is actually faster. Excuse me. It's faster provided that you plan a lot. It's faster as long as you kind of are committed to something and you don't mind getting oil all over everything. It is faster, but it's kind of like, for me, I'm less familiar with that medium, but so I'm excited. Maybe this will mean that I'll quicken the pace, because acrylic takes a lot of layers for me because of what I like to do, just the way it is. But oil resists layers because it's so slow drying. Anyway, the next astrological chart I'm doing is so exciting. I'm excited about it. I might be able to find the weather on the day, hopefully. And so that would be good if I can do that, because I like to know that it adds to the atmosphere of the piece. And so I'm super excited about it. And I'm just excited about life. You know, I love this time of year. I love seeing all of these things come to fruition. I love a harvest time. I love it that the produce in the grocery store is abundant and easy to get, and it's so nice. And you can get things that you can't get any other time of the year now. So it's so great. And so just doing a lot of work, which I love. And if I have work to do, I always feel good because I can focus. Focusing is what I really like to do, it turns out. Anyway, also I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if someone had something to promote? somehow linking an astrological poem with promotion of some kind. I'm thinking about ads because there's another painting that I'm doing in acrylic that I think is calling for something. When I'm doing research for this Queen Elizabeth I poem, I am excited because the ads are so beautiful that they're inspiring me. And I did a commercial for my astro-poetry. And I'm, just feeling it out. I'd like to take a course in not sign painting, but something like that. Like just practice it. Fonts and stuff with paint. So I'm just thinking about that stuff. Anyway, exciting stuff. I guess I have to get to work now. I mean, I've got a lot of painting to do. And I'm sending love and light to all of you, especially to my very special first astro poetry client. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day and that you're enjoying this end of summer transition into the new season. And Jay says, no. And that means that he loves you too. And I'll talk to you guys later. Okay.